Hi there, welcome to the Happy Chicken Coop YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about why you're feeding your chickens to death and how to stop it. Before we get into that, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also be sure to subscribe to our website, happychickencoop.com. If you subscribe using the link in the description, you'll receive a free ebook on the 10 best egg-laying chicken breeds. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. We all love our chickens and want to do what's best for them. I know I love nothing more than spoiling them with chicken scraps and homemade treats, but did you ever stop to think that you might be feeding your chickens to death? Overfeeding your hens can lead to obesity and a lot of health issues. Not only that, but many foods which humans eat, such as avocados, are actually poisonous to chickens and can do a lot of damage, and it's hard to know exactly what you should feed your girls and how much to feed them. Today, I'm going to be looking at how you're feeding your chickens and are you feeding them to death. I'm also going to let you know what they should be eating to prevent that from happening to you. So let's talk about obesity in chickens. Perhaps one of the major problems our birds face today is us killing them with kindness. We love to give them treats, and it's hard to resist when they rush to the gate expectantly to see what goodies you have for them. If your hens range over pasture and get plenty of exercises, you're very unlikely to have fat hens. On the other hand, if your birds are confined to the coop and run, obesity can become a problem. What treats you give your hens is very important. If you give them healthy snacks such as greens, mealworms, fruits, and veggies, make sure it is in moderation. Even mealworms can cause problems in excess. They should not be eating leftover pizza, white rice, and bread. These are all high carbohydrate foods that chickens do not need. Now, nothing's gonna happen if you feed them once or twice, but don't be using those frequently. The only exception to this is feeding corn to your chickens in the winter. Even then, it's important that moderation is the key. Now, here's how to avoid feeding your chickens to death, because I'm gonna teach you how much food your chickens should be eating. The average hen will eat around half a cup of feed per day. In addition to their feed, you should limit their treats to about 10% of their daily intake. You can start by weighing the feed, but you'll get used to the amount they need after a while. An excessive intake of fatty foods such as suet or flock blocks and sunflower seeds can cause fatty liver hemorrhagic syndrome. It is as nasty as it sounds, and it can kill your hen without much warning. Fat tends to build up around the liver, becoming soft and more prone to bleeding. A hen straining to lay an egg can bleed to death. Typically, hens who suffer from this disease are usually 20% or more overweight and are laying hens. We mentioned mealworms earlier. They're a high-protein snack that chickens love, but too many can cause kidney disease and gout because they are high in protein. The small amount's okay, but remember, mealworms are about 50% protein, and an egg-laying hen needs only about 20 grams of protein per day. Now, a quick note, remember to clean up any excess feed and treats left on the ground overnight, because this will attract pests. Here are some foods to avoid, some poisonous treats if you're going to feed your chickens outside of their feed. We have an extensive list that I can link in the description. It's an article as far as what treats are poisonous. So I'll just select a few because these are actually popular treats that can come from our gardens, but can be toxic. The first one is avocados. It contains a toxin that can be fatal not only to poultry, but dogs, cats, and cattle. Also tomato plants. The fruit is a wonderful treat for the flock, but the leaves and stems and vines are actually poisonous. Also potato plants. Rhubarb leaves, another nightshade family member. The leaves contain high amounts of oxalic acid, which can cause kidney failure. Also, eggplant leaves or uncooked beans. The uncooked beans contain hemagglutinin, which is very poisonous to birds. However, cooked beans are okay. Lupines, as beautiful as those pink and blue spires are, keep your birds away. The plant can cause nervous system problems. Periwinkle, or also known as creeping myrtle, it too can cause nervous system failure and death. Also, foxglove. This contains digitalis, a cardiac drug that causes the heart to slow down. And holly. Ingestion of leaves can cause vomiting and diarrhea. This is just a brief list. It's by no means comprehensive, but be sure to do your research and know your flowers and vegetables before you let your hens run wild. Alternatively, healthy snacks include cucumber, melon, squash, strawberries, broccoli, and kale, just to mention a few. If you want to know more chicken treats, I have an article that I can link in the description below. So what to do with obese chickens? Obese hens do not generally get enough exercise. If they are confined to a coop and run, they probably don't have enough room for them to get exercise. It's really a vicious cycle. The hen becomes obese, doesn't want to exercise, so they eat more. They also tend to lay oversized eggs. Oversized eggs may sound great. However, these oversized eggs can cause the chicken to be at risk for egg binding, which could kill them. Egg binding can lead to peritonitis, and the hen will die if not treated. You can help them get exercise with games such as cabbage tetherball. Throwing a handful of corn or scratch around will encourage them to hunt and peck for their treats. A sweat cage filled with greens hung at just above head height will tempt them to do some jumping jacks. A rolling treat dispenser will promote a game of hen football. Even just allowing your birds to wander over the pasture looking for bugs, greens, and other tasty bugs is so much healthier for your hen, both physically and mentally. They must remain active as possible over the long winter months. Boredom and inactivity can lead to nasty habits such as picking, feather eating, and general feelings of unrest. Now let's talk about the right way of feeding your chickens. The chicken diet today is much different from the way our grandparents raised chickens. Chickens are omnivorous, and the barnyard hen of yesteryear survived on hunting for bugs, grains, and the occasional table scrap from the farmer. Essentially, it was a subsistence diet, and the hen produced fewer eggs per week. Hens of today have a luxurious lifestyle by comparison because we recognize that good nutrition is important for producing eggs, meat, and baby chicks. This is why we feed our chickens commercial pellets. It gives our girls a complete source of essential nutrition. If you want, you can take a look at this table to determine exactly how much feed you should be giving your chickens. It's essential to feed the correct mix to your birds, as chicks and growing birds need more protein than laying hens. Don't worry if you happen to run out of a particular feed. The birds will not suffer if you give them a different type of feed for a few days. However, make sure to resume the correct feed as soon as possible. Some people prefer to mix their own feed for their hens. This is typically cheaper than buying pre-made chicken feed. However, if the homemade feed doesn't meet their nutritional requirements, your girls won't be as healthy or lay as many eggs. The homemade recipe needs to ensure the correct amount of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and trace minerals. As with humans, deprivation of certain vitamins and minerals can lead to serious issues. If you decide to mix your own feed, you need to ensure the birds get all the necessary nutrition, like I said, whether from the feed or as a water-soluble vitamin supplement. Although it's rare for a hen to die from malnutrition, it can happen from the depletion of vitamins necessary. Another thing we rarely think about is ensuring your feed is fresh, whether it's store-bought or homemade. Vitamins start to degrade over time in the food, so feeding old, out-of-date feed can lead to deficiencies. Moldy grain can also cause sickness and, worst case scenario, death in your chickens. Remember, if your feed doesn't look or smell quite right, throw it out and get some new feed. In moderation, treats can be healthy. Outside of that list I told you earlier, here are some more healthy treats that you can feed them. Mealworms, black soldier flies, scrambled eggs. I know that sounds strange. If your chickens need a protein boost and you have some extra eggs laying around, scramble them up and serve them to them. Corn, I think I mentioned that before, and watermelon. Chickens love watermelon, and it's great for a hot summer day. The extra hydration is a bonus. So to summarize, feeding your chickens should be enjoyable. However, overfeeding your chickens or feeding your chickens poisonous food such as rhubarb leaves can be terrible for their health. Ensuring you feed them the correct food and the right amount of food is your most important job as a backyard chicken keeper. In addition to this, keeping your girls active and letting them roam around will do wonders for their health and well-being. That's going to do it for us here at the Happy Chicken Coop. Thanks for listening. If you find our content interesting, if you learned something new, make sure to subscribe and like the video and share it with your friends. And with that, I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.